Recorded on a Sony. Lunch break on a Sony. So why wouldn't you watch it on a Bravia? By Sony.
Have you got what it takes to get to the top? It doesn't matter how high you climb. To reach the top, even the biggest champ needs a break. So you can recharge, dive back in, and dominate.
Who's the one that shows up late?
Ooh,
He's thinking. He's thinking.
it's
Malefic Gun. Increases basic attack range to kite the enemies more easily.
Okay.
Just like you and me, finding our destiny. Though they may not see, I'll prove what I can be. Aren't we all the same? We're deep in the game. They say this is lame, but we have our own aim. No fear, prove it. Rise up and do it. Chasing the same dream, we all are on the same team. Let's go! It's our time to shine, it comes far behind. It's our time to show how far we can go. Though they may not see, we show what we can be. It's on you and me, just wait and you'll see. It's our time to show the world who we are. It's our time to shine, we are the rising stars. Our time to shine it. Yeah!
A historic day is upon us at the Amazon Arena as we welcome the second semifinal match of the Mid-Season Cup 2024 at the Esports World Cup.
That's right, because for the first time since the inaugural International MLBB Championship all the way back in 2017, that we're going to have a Singaporean or a Malaysian representative reach the tournament's culmination.
Our upcoming matchup will clearly define the evolving competitive landscape that's unfolding right before our eyes.
And the question remains, can the Singaporean all-star lineup give the red-hot Selangor Red Giants their first match defeat in over 100 days?
Or will the Malaysian champions remain undefeated and claim another key to advance to the grand finals?
We're going to answer every single one of those questions as we continue our journey to see the world here at the MSC 2024 at the Esports World Cup.
We are one day away from crowning the champion of the Mid-Season Cup 2024. But now we gotta talk about one of the best roamers in Malaysia, Yums. He has graced the international scene multiple times in his career. On the other hand, Diablo, the Singaporean superstar, is about to make history on his fourth consecutive run on MSC. Both players shine in their very own way, carrying the pride of their countries. Today, they'll be fighting in a do-or-die match because Singapore and Malaysia, neither country has ever been in the grand finals of MSC. Today, that fact will change. My name is Avel, and welcome to the Mid-Season Cup 2024 here at the Esports World Cup. different teams from 2 different countries, both wanting to make history. Welcome to the 4th day of the Mid-Season Cup 2024 here at the Esports World Cup. My name is Afel. Alongside with me is our analyst, Wolf, as well as Gideon. How do you guys feel? Are you guys prepared for today?
I am prepared with my stats probably, but I might not be prepared of what's coming because I know for sure that, and I've always been public about this, MY and SG as regions, they're the most unpredictable.
I mean, of course we're going to be the most unpredictable. We want it badly this time around, especially this year. Things could change for the entirety of the landscape.
And I gotta say, for our casters, just letting you guys know, so far in the knockout stage, when it's a best of 5, well, Malaysian teams are known to go all the way to the best of 5. So, are you guys ready for that?
Oh, we are. We're definitely ready here. I believe this is the Florida Man desk, by the way, or one that lives in the Philippines, I guess.
Mans.
But we're ready for it.
Yeah, super excited for it. I mean, this whole side of the bracket has been nothing but best of 5 so far, almost.
Yeah.
They've all gone the distance, to say the least, and I got a feeling today is not going to disappoint.
Well, I can confirm, all the games went all 5 games. That being said, yesterday was an intense semifinals. So honestly, if you guys didn't catch it, it was Falcons AB Brand going up against Team Liquid Echo. It ended with a 3-1 where Falcons AB Brand were the ones to become the winner of that match and going to the grand finals. Just in case you guys missed it, let's check out yesterday's recap.
Falcons AP Brent relentless. Absolutely relentless. And more importantly, they're able to hold this high ground defense for a little bit long. Oh! They go in! And a Minoan Fury knocks him up, plus the chains! Plus the easy vengeance on Sanford! That's it! Call it! Falcons AP Brent are moving on through the grand finals!
GG! Well played! It's Falcons!
Falcons AP Bren at match point. FCAP is here. Falcons are here.
Things that impressed me. Number 1 was the fact that Flapteezy was able to stand on his chair and he didn't fall down. The second one was actually you and Leo's casting. That was amazing, by the way.
Appreciate it. I mean, watching that game was already... You mentioned it perfectly, right? Breaking out of the Matrix, we got to see some real MLBB that day.
And I'm just was surprised about the overall result. I thought it would go 3-2, and I honestly thought that Team Liquid Echo has got it in the bag, you know. But then again, Falcons AB Brand picking up the momentum. I think now they are a big threat to everyone. I think SRG or NIP Flash will have a very difficult grand finals ahead of them.
Oh yeah, funny enough, I was actually able to meet Mr. AP, and he was talking about yesterday's match, and yes, there's a very big difference between the grand finals in MPL Philippines and right now, and definitely Falcon AP Brand, they're looking to be much stronger for this one. So I do agree, both SRJ as well as NIP Flash, they got something that they have to definitely prepare for. So for now, let's look at Pepsi's top reactions. Speaking of reactions, we were able to catch TLPH's reaction after the loss, and I gotta say, it was very devastating for them.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, this part, especially for Carl TZ, who's always like always chased this MSC chip. well, him and Few, this is the only title that they haven't won, so it must be soul crushing, especially because they were very public about this as well, the prize pool. I think that also matters to them in this particular that particular loss.
I mean, not even just the prize pool, right? I mean, talk about sentiments. That could have been the full completion of every single tournament that could be possibly won by an MLBB player, and that alone could have been a huge achievement.
With that being said, yesterday we had 4 amazing games in a best-of-5 match. So honestly, there's going to be a lot of incredible plays coming in from both Falcons AP Brand as well as TLPH. And with that, we're going to check out our Aramco top 5 plays. And gentlemen, let's look at all the plays that happened yesterday because again, looking at them, I'm really looking at Flap TZ as well as Kyle TZ.
I think we saw Flap TZ outperform expectations. We already know that Sanford versus Flap TZ in the Explain will be such a banger. But Flap TZ, even with this Arla that we thought is already not that good from the E-Explain side, he's performing so well and he made it look very easy for the team.
I mean, it just goes to show that even with the meta right now, being able to play make is such a huge deal, right? But not only that, we did discover that, man, the flex pick Julian, kind of nutty.
Yeah, it's very nutty, but I want to add one more thing about the Arlie, who was going up against Terizla, which technically they're enemies in the EXP lane, and at this point, I feel like it's not the hero, it's more about the player.
Yeah, 100%. And we saw that it was Few who showed us how the Julian is played from the from the 4 position, and then eventually a strong pick for Kyle TZ in a wave that it's difficult to manage even when you're playing as a utility. I think they played Baksha against it, but it still didn't work. So Kyle TZ, with the way they plays the lane as well as he plays the Julian, always a threat for sure.
I mean, inevitably, once we get to the top 1% of MLBB teams in the world, I think there's like even the smallest of differences can make really huge gaps in terms of the way they play. Like, take Carl TZ for an example. He gets Baxia, the game wins. Flap TZ gets Arlet, the game seems almost too easy.
Let's continue the story by actually looking at the bracket because it was actually a revenge match for Falcons AP Brand going up against TLPH, where before this in MPL Philippines, it was a sweep, a 4-0. But Falcons AP Brand, they brought it this time. It's 3-1, and now they're waiting at the grand finals. And as you guys can see, it's going to be Selangor Red Giants going up against NIP Flash. Whoever wins this one will be going up against Falcons AP Brand. So, again, this is going to be very intense.
I'm going to come out right from the gate and just say it. I don't think Singapore is going to be 2 Malaysias in a row. I'm going to say that. I'm going to come out of the gates hot. What about you, Wolf? Do you think that they stand a chance against your favorite SRG?
Yes, very unfortunate. Unfortunately, the answer is no, I don't think so. They can push it to game number 5 for sure, but when it comes to winning an entire series against SRG, that I won't get my hopes up. However, we know for sure that they have shown good performances in the past, but SRG is just too strong.
Let's look at the club championship ranking because right now Selangor Red Giants are tied at the 7th spot. Winning this one will definitely jump them up even higher. But look at Team Falcons with Falcons AP Brand winning yesterday's match against Team Liquid Echo. Team Liquid number 5, at least for now, they're not going to be moving, but Team Falcons is reaching even higher.
Yeah.
I think even more so, right? It just goes to show that there's so much going on behind the scenes, and we're not even getting to the emotions of the players, right? Because I think that even for SRG and NIP Flash, they're always considering what is the next step, and a big part of NIP Flash's success has to be Diablo.
And right now, for you guys at home, what do you guys think about the Esports World Cup? Do you guys like the whole key system? Make sure you guys scan the QR code. Let us know how you guys feel about the Esports World Cup. Speaking of knowing how we feel, do you guys know what I feel is coming up after MSC?
What is?
It's MWI. Starting on July 24th is the female pro players' time to shine. Catch the MLBB Women's Invitational 2024, where 12 teams from 11 regions break barriers and as well redefining esports. And when you're looking at other tournaments, you know who they're battling?
Who?
Honestly, it's mostly a battle within. The Soul Vessel skin series, Amon, Vessel of the Seed, and Hanabi, Vessel of Rage, are now available. You guys have up until the 5th of August to get these awesome skins. The first draw is 50% off every single day, and a permanent Soul Vessel series item is guaranteed in the first 10 times draw, so make sure you guys join in now. Now, Wolf, do you like the new items coming in for our MSC?
Not all of them, but yeah, sure.
No, you love them because the Project Next update is live. Discover the fresh excitement of equipment evolution and enjoy a revitalized, thrilling gameplay. Jump in now for a more dynamic and fun battle experience. Speaking of which, Gideon, do you feel old?
I do feel old. Sometimes I wish I was younger.
You know what? You can by joining the U Fair. The U Fair is here with incredible bonuses and exciting events. Grab multiple permanent skins for free, just like Sylvana's Classroom Charm and his painted skin, Classroom Glam. More exciting events will be revealed, so watch out. And now, we're going to talk about the teams. We're going to talk about Selangor Red Giants going up against NIP Flash. This is going to be an amazing one.
Well, as amazing as it is, there's a lot of history. Some may even say tension between the two nations for the longest of times. Don't take it from me, but I want to see the outside perspective.
Yeah, well, the outside perspective is a perspective of Filipino, I guess, and there are 2 Filipinos each in the 2 teams, which is interesting. But at the same time, the core of both teams are from their respective regions, respective countries, which I feel is what is more important in this bout. I think the Filipinos that are part of this are just, like icing on the cake, perhaps. But the brunt of the cake, each layer that is filled by the powerhouses of each of the teams for the following regions. For example, this is Singapore's all-star team, which I do believe. And I don't know if you agree with me, but that also kind of applies to SRG, wherein they're like probably the best in their I don't know, their positions.
Yeah, every single role, this is probably the best players for every single one of them. This is one match to settle the score. And I gotta say, Malaysia and Singapore, we go way back. Because before this, we were even one region. We had the same MPL, MPL, MYSG.
That's right.
I mean, the beauty of it all was previously when NIP Flash was taking on Homeboy specifically. I mean, JPL and Zorn have been playing for a very long time, all the way since Season 1 and as well as Season 2. But as I've mentioned in the regular season of MPL MY, SRG is the next generation of MLBB for Malaysia. They're basically the future.
And let's check out the Causeway battle because, again, this is Malaysia going up against Singapore. Causeway rivalry, the MYSG clash for grand final debut. Both countries have never been to the grand finals thus far.
Oh, that's actually very
in MSC and M Series history.
That's right. So this is a very important era, a very important phenomenon for both regions. By the way, maybe for the other country, for other viewers from other countries like the Filipinos, I already asked them this question back in M1 and M2. What did you mean by a battle for the Causeway? Apparently there is a bridge.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
there's a bridge that kind of connects / disconnects MY and SG.
Let me just explain. Essentially, in geography, Singapore is an island, right? Surrounded by a body of water, and the causeway is just the body of water in between Johor, a state, the southern state of Malaysia, and as well as Singapore. So that's why we call it the causeway. And honestly, even in history, a lot of people have been battling and, well, some may say colonizing just to control that strait.
Okay. So that's a very important territory, I guess, for anyone who takes this. But kidding aside, I think the MY versus SG, long time coming. I've always felt that some other regions from the Southeast Asia should be given the spotlight. And now with SRG's efforts through Coach Arcadia, which I have had a long talk with him. I definitely will share a lot of stories along the way. But also for NIP Flash, which Singapore, it's always been like the fans are always undermining what Singapore can do in Mobile Legends.
I mean, the same could be said about MY as well.
I mean, we can talk about the growth of both regions because both start off very hot, and I would say mid-season, everyone drops down a bit.
Yeah.
But again, this is the dawn of a new competitive landscape. Now Singapore and Malaysia are both showing up.
And the thing with NIP Flash is that it wasn't an easy road at all. They had to win over Evil's Glory. They were in a very tight group, and then eventually they had to overcome Homeboys in a 5-game series. Challenges like that kind of tell me that they legitimately belong to the top 4.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good point. NIP Flash had to go up against Evil's Glory. SRG's Selangor Giants had to go up against Fnatic Onyx.
Exactly.
So both really had good gatekeepers there, and they were able to drop both of them down.
I mean, they're setting a new benchmark at this point, right? Now that we're past the gatekeepers, the question is, can we break into that top 1%? And I think today we're going to see who's going to qualify for that position to challenge the big boss at the grand finals.
We got to talk about how both teams as well went through their best of 5, going all 5 games, where Selangor Giants had to go the distance with Fire Flux. and NIP Flash had to go the distance against Homeboys. With that being said, we can definitely see that NIP Flash, they have this tendency of learning what the opponent is doing. And we heard coming in from the coaches is like, if we lose, we lose. But we're going to lose with our best heroes. So it's all about Selangor Red Giants. Can you adjust to the best heroes of NIP Flash?
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. You know, your tournament life is on the line. And then you pick up what? Benedetta on Diablo with full damage. You bring back Hades with the Guinevere. They have Martis in the mid lane. That to me is very cool, and I love seeing teams approach a tournament like that. Like, play your best Mobile Legends hero and try to win it.
Yeah, right now we're looking at both teams marching to the Amazon Arena. Gideon, how are you feeling? Like, because we've been here for a while. We've seen Singapore grow. We've seen Malaysia grow.
I hate the fact that you had to do it when NIP Flash is rolling out here. But no, I think that NIP Flash is one of those teams where you don't know what to expect. But at the end of the day, it really just boils down to they are very analytical. They like to keep it simple in comparison to SRG, where it's about chemistry. It's about feel and then backing it up with the logic.
Yeah, man, I had a...
Oh, Stormy's mom's here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wait, Storm, is it common in Malaysia to do that gesture?
Yeah, no, Stormy's mom was, supposedly she's not coming, but I guess they found a way and now she's here. Speaking of which, let's get into our Dr. Sulaiman Al-Habib upcoming showdown between Selangor Red Giants and NIP Flash. And again, this is, at least for me and Gideon, it's gonna challenge our heart race. I kind of feel like it'll be racing a lot for today.
I'm sure.
I'm gonna be trying to be as unbiased as possible because again, I love both of these teams and I wish that the bracket didn't end up the way that it did. But hey, you know, it just happens to be this way.
And with that being said, you guys see Dr. Sulaiman Al-Habib's showdown of the day. And with that, we're actually going to be throwing it over to the stage because we got to introduce both teams to start the match. And with that being said, Mara Aquino as well as the Wood Sandstorm, I hope you guys are ready because coming up, this is going to be an intense match. We'll send it over to you guys.
Shoving them out through the ult from Stormy, and now they shut down TNT. Double kill for Innocent.
We felt happy, super happy, because we beat Fireflux. But at the same time, we're not that happy because we lack discipline and also we know that we can do better.
When I lost the quarterfinals last year, I felt very disappointed because it has been my goal last year with RSG, SG, the different team to reach the top 4, and I think a lot of people had high expectations of us because we also topped our group stage last year. Like this year, it's the exact same thing, but this year we managed to do it, so I definitely felt a lot happier. Yes.
About NIP Flash, I heard that they are the dark horse, so I'm really curious to fight against them.
NIP Flash a 5-man siege, but Diablo will be able to catch him off his sword, still able to use the G-Kundo meanwhile.
I think most of you already saw the MPL Malaysia Grand Finals a few months back, so you don't need to see that again. This time it will be MPL SG MY Grand Finals, us versus Selangor. So Sekais, I know you like to play Assassins and I like to play Damage EXP, so let's see who can carry the team better.
Two hits, best of luck, and let's see how you match up against the guys.
A 4th place finish. That was the best performance that we have ever seen from a Singaporean representative in an international MLBB tournament. And that was set back in 2017 in the first ever MSC by none other than Impunity SG.
A 3rd place finish. That's the best a Malaysian team has ever achieved in an international MLBB tournament, set by Todak in the M Series World Championship in 2019.
And today, all of that changes as one of those teams from those regions will make it to the grand final.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ayohaseyo Dato Asada.
Welcome
to the Amazon Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue our journey to see the world today on this incredible stage because 2 teams stand tall against each other and only one of them will take that next step to the crown, of course, of the MSC trophy.
And these 2 teams, let's remember, dominated the group stage and the quarterfinals of the knockout stage.
That is true, and I am honestly curious to see who of those 2 teams, who of those 2 representatives will take that next step and get to the grand finals where the crowned world champions in Falcons AP Bren is ready and waiting for them. So, without further ado, let's introduce our 2 competitors of the day.
Introducing first, the Red Hot Titans from Malaysia. Let's welcome Selangor Red Giants. Selangor Red Giants. This young squad, composed of Cram, Sakai, Stormy, Yums, and Innocent. They're looking to finish their journey to see the world without a single scratch in their record. Over 100 days undefeated.
Now that is a heck of a record to have on your shoulders, and I want to see if their opponents on the other side, the star-studded lineup from Singapore, can take them down. Welcome to the Amazon Arena, NIP Flash. Making their way to the stage right now are Hades, Diablo, Curtizi, JPL, and Vanix, looking to grab the opportunity to make history over their Malaysian contenders. Boys, SRG, NIP Flash, it is time to take your seats, for the battle is about to begin, and the fates of your lives, of your dreams, and of your keys will be decided in our best of 5 do or die match of the day.
For one team, this will be the final time that they'll be holding their key, and for the other, they will be crushing their opponent's key at the end of the day. The winner of today's match is guaranteed to have at least $500,000 and at least 600 club points.
Exactly, and of course, we know that these teams are going to be competing not only for the coveted MSC trophy, but also for the title of the world's best esports club over the course of 8 weeks. And we are only in week 2 right now. So much more action is lined up for us. And of course, week 3, we have another little surprise with more MLBB action coming their way, Mara.
That's right. We will be gracing the stage for MWI with 12 teams from 11 regions right after MSC 2024. But you know what, Sandstorm? Let's invite the teams to proceed to their tables. You may now do your ping test with the Asus ROG, the best gaming phone in the world, fit for champions, and that's powered by Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 mobile platform.
That's right, MSC 2024 has the official gaming phone, of course, from the Asus ROG. And now I want to see which one of those teams, Mara, will be able to take that next step. I think they're going to start getting ready. I think the arena is almost ready too.
That's right, we're always looking forward to something new because this is history in the making. One of them will have their grand finals debut. It's going to be the Singaporean all-star team against a Malaysian giant that seems impossible to beat. So how about let's get it started? The Amazon Arena is ready. The players are ready. The fans are waiting to get it started. So let's get it over to our panel.
Let's, panelists, analysts, take it away. It's your time to shine, and it's time to get this started.
Thank you very much, Mara, as well as the Wood Sandstorm. Now, I gotta give it quick. What do you guys think? Because for you guys at home, who do you guys got for this match? Is it gonna be Selangor Red Giants or NIP Flash? Head on over to stcplay.gg right now and lock in your predictions. And with that, I'm gonna ask the analyst to help you guys out. Who do you guys think has got this one?
All right, I think I've already said it before. It's SRG for me. But if there's one team that have actually shattered my record for all my predictions in the knockout stages, it was only NIP Flash. That's where I got it wrong first. So maybe, who knows, maybe I'm wrong again today.
No, I totally agree with you. There's a good chance that there could be an upset today. And honestly, I'm hoping to actually make some guess coins, double it up here with SRG.
Yeah.
I mean, with that being said, you guys heard from both our analysts. Looks like this is going to be a Selangor Red Giant stand. But again, sometimes we have been wrong.
Actually, many times.
Debatable. I would say we have over 50% win rate, and the last time I checked, over 50% is...
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. We got to talk about the draft here because I'm going to go back before this when we had an interview with NIP Flash where they said that they've studied Udil and they understand that the Martis is an incredible matchup against his hero pool. And they've also discovered that Kirk Teasy is better than Udil. With that being said, I wonder if they've done the same thing for Stormy and if the Martis is also the same answer for this guy.
That could be a potential. But then again, this is the thing with whatever NIP Flash did going up against Homeboys is that they did it in the quarterfinals, which also means that will not escape the mind of SRG. Like
that's true.
For Coach Arcadia and the coaching staff, they probably will keep that in mind, you know?
I totally agree. And especially since we're already seeing that SRG has opted to go on the blue side. Statistically, blue side has been looking pretty good. Although red side has been catching up fairly quickly, the only way we're going to have the mass amount of data is once we get to the grand finals.
Yeah, with that being said, we saw that the draft is starting and looks like Selangor Red Giants will be having the first pick, NIP Flash having the second pick. The question really is what NIP Flash wants to ban away. Because we've seen a lot of Ling bans, a lot of Aurora as well as Chip when you're on the red side. But maybe they're willing to let one go and maybe ban something out like the Roger, where again, the pick rate of the Roger is insane.
No, is it 100% whenever it is?
70% pick rate.
70% pick rate. So that I could safely assume that whenever it's open, it will be picked up.
Exactly.
Is it like 100% pick and ban rate? So, yep. I believe that as much as we like the Chibi versus Hades brawl in the Assassin battle, I think this will be an even more interesting Assassin battle, right? Because Sakai's really is
the Sky Prince.
That sounds good.
You know what? I'm claiming that
the
one.
Sky Prince.
Starting from MSC, he's known as the Sky Prince.
I love it.
I like that moniker a lot. I mean, considering how this matchup is going to be, I'm not sure whether Coach Arcadia is going to be looking to attack the gold lane or just, if Ling's open, just give it to the Sky King himself.
Yep. Maybe Ling should not be let go by any of the teams just because of how OP the Ling is. I would say that this should be like, I want to see like a Nolan versus Hayabusa battle again.
Isn't that Hayabusa favorite at the end of the day?
That's actually true.
I mean, yes, you can move around the map a little bit faster, and I would also make an argument that maybe even the Fanny might just be a little bit better, so you have an extra bit of punch in the early game.
That's true. I just feel like Ling is like way too OP to kind of force a battle. It's not even a duel at this point because the way that you handle the Ling is more macro based, wherein you try to stop the split push and you kind of focus a lot on the neutral objectives. So, yep,
Here's the thing.
Moscow.
I kind of feel like NIP Flash will have a bit of a difficult time going up against Selangor Giants when it comes to the draft, just because for some reason you feel like Selangor Giants haven't revealed their full lineup just yet in terms of the heroes that they can use. But I'm gonna update you guys. Selangor Giants, they have started a ban. They're banning out Valentina, Louis, as well as Benedetta. For NIP Flash, they bet out a Chip, Angela, as well as the Roger. SRG, they first pick up the Moskov.
So no Ling, huh?
Yeah, no Ling ban, and so far, pick so far. NIP Flash picking up Cho and Martis.
Immediately picking up the Martis. So with the Moskov, you need some sort of protection. Immediately, what goes to my mind is Terizla, as well as the Edith. It could be the pick here for that is SRG, right?
Yep. I think SRG of Moskov, yeah.
Generally, I think this is just going to be a hard read from the side of NIP Flash, right? They're thinking, okay, we don't mind giving you the Ling, we don't mind giving you, these big assassins because we got the Way of the Dragon to completely shut it down, which is something that I've noticed amongst, the Singaporean region. It's a one-in-one answer. It's not a double up and finding those big overlaps.
So it is
just to update as well. Or she pick up Ruby and Ling, yeah.
No, I really like the Ruby because it was the answer to the Cho, because you can cancel the Way of the Dragon from happening. That opens up probably the Terizla, right? That should be open for NIP Flash. Because we know already that this Martis is going to the mid, right? That should be a fair assumption.
Yeah. There's no way he's goaling.
I don't like the way you guys are looking at each other. I don't like the way that you guys are like, yeah, no, this is definitely going to be it. Because I do feel that it's unique to Singapore that this Martis is going to be the flex pick of a lifetime. But at the same time, it can be dealt with. Mid control is going to be top priority.
Now, while it is true that Terizla is great, I think you want to go for either a Yu Zhong or even a Benedetta for NIP Flash because you kind of need damage. But right now, they're going to be picking up the Harith. Surprised to see that it was still available at this point.
I mean, to point on that as well, we got to remember that the Benedetta has been banned by Selangor Giants, so their only option is the Yuzong. So perhaps the Yuzong might get banned out after this.
Was it banned already?
It was banned first. It was the Benedetta ban, the Valentina, as well as the Louis.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
Keep in mind, Ruby can be flexed. I think that we've seen time and time again that SRG is pretty okay on the blue side to kind of maintain control over the draft, but this is the part where it gets really scary as we move on to second phase.
Okay.
Speaking of which, NIP Flash betting out the Faramis.
Okay. Now, it's difficult to kind of think about a draft when it's just like this, but I would suggest a Farsa perhaps for NIP Flash, just because it deals with Moskov in a way.
Nah, I feel like they're locking in that Martis. I feel like that Martis will be mid. I mean, like, again, technically it's a flex, right? You can put it in the jungle, but why not just let Curtizi have the Martis so that you kind of have a double jungle kind of thing?
In a way, you pick up Julian because you need some sort of magic damage.
Stormy can use the Julian, and his Julian is insane. Probably best than most junglers.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is, can you clear the mid, especially against the Martis, and not receive like a terrible trade? We've seen multiple teams taking awful trades against this Martis, and they're like, oh man, I've lost all tempo in the first 2 minutes.
Okay, so...
Yeah, for now, honestly, we gotta ask the casters. Looking at the first 3 picks for Selangor Giants as well as NIP Flash, what do you guys feel? Especially this Martis mid. How does the caster feel?
Oh, we feel pretty good, I would say. You know, that Martis in the mid lane, I like the moniker too. By the way, we both shook our heads here. The Sky Prince.
Sky Prince, baby.
For Sakai's, I like it. The Ling is here.
I think the draft, I think NIP Flash doesn't waste any time. They already know, SRG already knows that this Martis is a possibility, so I think NIP, if they can get some momentum in first game, catch them off guard with this, able to pull off a win with this type of pick, then it could really set them in the right motion for the next 5 games.
Okay, so I thought we were going to have, a full breakdown here, but it looks like the last ban, too, was Mincetar.
Yep, last ban is going to be Mincetar, Aurora on the other side. So right now we need NIP Flash to pick up. They need a mid laner here. We did hear Wolf mentioning the Farsa. I don't know if I'm on board with the Farsa. The Ling definitely counteracts it. The Ruby, a lot of things on the side of SRG could be a problem to it. But and we have the Kurt Teasy already. So really jungle Uranus.
Okay, so Uranus is actually going to be locked in. I know you guys are seeing it pop up on the screens now too, so interesting lineup because this also just now allows you to put a stalwart in the lane.
Yeah, thank you very much, Castles. Gideon, don't you love the Uranus?
I hate the fact that you keep throwing it to me, especially when you know my little triggers. Yeah, I think that Uranus in this point, just the sandbag is a pretty good idea.
The typical answer to is Dyroth, and Dyroth plus Ling has been a staple in Indonesia back in Season 12, and that was a great combo. I'm scared that that could be picked up because then if you have the Dyroth, you burst down the Harith as well as the Martis, and you also have kill potential versus the Uranus.
Oh, wow.
That could be a potential.
And so now, again, we're just waiting for draft.
Oh,
Phoveus.
got him!
Up the Phoveus and the Dyroth.
Love it.
Wait, which one's the goal laner? Ruby?
No, Moskov. And then this is mid Phoveus.
Mid Phoveus, yeah, that's correct.
It's a farm miss.
Wait, so have we just hit the 80 unique hero pick mark?
Ooh. I think we have.
Right, we've hit 80.
Yeah. Okay.
That's so wild. That's so wild because now, like, honestly, the region of Singapore, we're like, wow, they've come up with weird stuff, and now it's forcing everybody to adapt around them.
Okay, this is interesting. And Amon has been picked up.
Love it.
So looking at the draft coming in from NIP Flash, it looks pretty tanky. But again, looking from Slangeray Giants as well, it's pretty tanky too. So with that being said, Naisu as well as Strex, hopefully you guys are ready for a very long match because the team fight is going to be extended. We're throwing it over to you guys.
Thank you so much, panelists. Great breakdown there, of course. Happy to join you for that draft as well. We've got a great draft on our hand here, Trex.
An interesting draft, and not a bad interesting draft. I mean, I think SRG may have the answer to the Kurt Teasy special right there. I think he's got the answer to it.
Well, we're going to find out if he does have that answer because the Battle of the Causeway is underway. And as we jump into the Land of Dawn for this first game of this best of 5, both teams looking to make history as their eyes are set on their first ever grand final spot appearance at the Mid-Season Cup. Will it be Selangor Red Giants or the Ninjas in Pajamas Flash taking the first mark? And we get a good sight here on how this is all going to play a part again. The Sky Prince, oh, look at this already mid lane.
Oh, so much damage from Kurt already. One more shot with Stormy, able to get away, and that is the pressure that comes from this Martis mid. I think it's going to be a little bit of time till Stormy's really able to counter it, but still it's huge.
I guess that goes back to it, man. Is this the answer to deal with Kurt Teasy? The Phoveus right now, because of the fact that we haven't seen it pop up too much, I mean, the same could have been said about Martis earlier on until Kurt Teasy brought it to play. But I think, you know, when we get to when we start to get these skirmishes early on, and once that level 4 comes online for Stormy, that might play a part in here. Oh, Diablo 2. This is weird. I feel like this is different, right? As we take a look at the emblems here real quick, I want to point out the fact Diablo playing this Uranus is very different and a different contrast from what we saw with the Benedetta.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely much slower pace, but they have so much damage. Here comes Kurt Teasy, rotating up to the top side, putting damage onto the Sky Prince himself. I really love this pick from Hades. The Amon pick and big burst, first blood, over to NIP Flash. Hades gonna put that one into his pocket. I think the Amon pick is great as well. It's a beautiful answer to the Phoveus. No dash assassin, but still big damage.
Yeah, talk about already building up this early advantage on a pick like Amon. And you know, you kind of want to do the same thing if you're Sakai's here with that Ling, as we've seen him do in the past, but so far, because of the fact that Hades gets this first kill, gets a pickup, he has momentum on his side. Turtle's going to be up, so the first objective to focus here, a whole lot happening on top.
God, Kurt's damage doesn't make sense. Mid laners aren't supposed to do this early, and now the Lord able to be the Turtle able to be taken by Sakai's. A lot of damage onto Yumzo. Kurt Teasy able to help Hades get the kill and secure one for himself as well. Sakai's goes down to 2-for-1 trade right now. Make it 3 as Cram falls next. Kurt Teasy 2-0-2. Turtle does go over to SRG though.
At least SRG gets the objective, but man, looking at the STC replay again, this is just chaos here. And that's partly due because of the Mortal Coils coming out from Kurt Teasy and that Decimate. So at least, you know, there's a pickup there as well, but man, NIP Flash coming out this game 1 with a Flash, you know, it's very strong start for them. Looking at the items too, no first items locked in just yet. but they will be falling in place very soon. With this lead they've gotten themselves, and even just having those arcane boots, that little extra penetration will really help Hades here. And, you know, this might be the answer to put Diablo on this Uranus. He's a stalwart in the XP lane. Just keep him there. Oh, hold on.
Hades gonna come in, should be able to burst down Cram. Cram goes down once again. Crammed into the coffin, man. It's 0-2-0 right there, and that is a bad start for a Dyroth.
Yeah, this is a bad start for a Dyroth, or for anyone, really. I mean, even this, Yums, okay, he has to flicker out, so he should be fine. Goes in.
A little bit of damage, nothing too major. You know, a lot of people would say it's highly debatable. The Dyroth does counter the Esmeralda back in the day, but I'm still a believer that I don't think it does it for the Uranus. The Consecration's able to just get him away, and we're starting to see that. You add that up with a couple deaths on the Dyroth, it's becoming a problem in that AXP lane.
So then we have to start to think, all right, well, with the Dyroth that you have here, with this lineup that SRG has, there could be a certain timing for them to kind of like pop off at this point, but because of the fact that Sakai has had such a difficult time, he's going to take a lot longer for Ling to build up here. Corrosion Scythe just being locked in by Innocent down here in the gold lane. Of course, that classic matchup we see so much of against the Harith. But even with that, SRG actually wants to go ahead and contest this turtle here. Look what Diablo's doing too. He's just being a nuisance. Might try to get the retribution out, but won't be able to, so they forced him out of the turtle.
Oh, and JPL's position as well, just keeping Sekai's at bay here. Kurt Teasy going to come in. SRG now finally kind of controlling the pit here. Nice lockup on a JPL. Demonic Force does pop, but Stormy unable to use it once again. JPL able to get the way of the dragon. Vanex putting a lot of damage down. Cram able to just get away. Zamon's Force does drop. Humes first to fall in the fight there. Innocent now going to get involved, able to get the spear against Diablo. Pin him against the wall, but Diablo pops concentration, gets away. Turtle goes over to NIP Flash. Spear Destruction does not connect. Curtizi goes down. Stormy able to pick it up, looking for another target. Sekai's there as well. A double kill for Stormy. It's 2-0. Turtle over to NIP, 6-3.
Hey, that might be the answer, man. Give some kills to Stormy. Let him pop off on this Fulvius pick. And I would like to know, too, maybe this is that 80th pick unique heroes for the MSC 2024 here. And again, looking at the items fall in place, he's already got that Clock of Destiny locked in now for Stormy. This could be a big power spike for the team lineup here from SRG, because so far there hasn't been a direct answer just yet from Curtizi. They're going to have to shut him down.
Ooh, I'm offended. On to 2. Curtizi goes down. The pick is starting to fold. JPL taking some damage as well. Demonic Force doesn't get proc. Stormy doesn't need to blow the load yet.
Hey, man. Yumes is like, you know what? I've been seeing way too many Mortal Coils. You escaping Curtizi, and they finally get him handled. So now it's shifted a little bit for NIP Flash. They have to have an answer for Stormy. We know that Fulvius, now traditionally in history when he is picked up, once he gets a lead like this, I don't know, he just becomes almost unkillable, especially when he pops that Demonic Force against them. JPL gonna get some information, will get zoned out there, but that's the thing. NIP Flash, great start for them, but they could easily lose that lead they built up already.
So both teams, I think, are going to have two very hard-to-kill forces. We have the Uranus with Diablo. We're going to have Stormy for SRG. Both teams do have answers, though, right? You have Yumes and Innocent, who should be able to shred down Diablo. He should be able to get away from this. And then on the other side, you have JPL, who can get that big way of the dragon, stun up Stormy just long enough that maybe they can burst him down. So it's going to kind of come down to who can get these big boys out of the way.
Yeah, it's all about, like, getting them out of the way, but at the same time, you're buying time for your gold laners. You know, like, Innocent needs time. Obviously, he just picked up his next item, the Golden Staff, now for this Mozkov. This is the third turtle of the game. Looks like NIP Flash is just going to go ahead and start it up and try to keep Sakai's from getting into retry range here.
Pinch Poise is up. Zamon's Force does drop. Humes drops along with it. Turtle looking like it could go over to NIP here. Sekai's still there. Stormy taking a little bit of damage, forced to back off. Cram backs off as well. Down to the boss side, though. Innocent able to take a tower during the chaos. Hades finds the turtle. So tower for turtle, plus pressure in the bottom lane. SRG not completely losing out.
They get what they can. NIP Flash, you know, it's better that they just go ahead, get that turtle. They got a kill off of it, but SRG at least making some macro play here. It's part of, you know, basically the chessboard, if you will, because SRG, they got to have space to work around with, especially the lineup. This is where the Ling gets to shine. You have a space advantage around the map. You can then go ahead and put pressure as well. So it reverts from Innocent doesn't always have to be the one split pushing. You can then let Sakai's do it. He shows up for these objectives and tries to steal it. Now, part of that, too, is where does this Dairoth fit into this whole thing? And it might just be, you know, oh, hold on.
JPL, take some, should be okay. Should be okay.
He's all right. I was going to say, you know, it might just be getting that armor penetration on with that Dairoth. And, of course, the Abysm Strike's a little bit tough to land here, I would say, against this lineup from NIP Flash. But also items locking in here. Berserker's Fury now for Sakai's, working against that gap. But look at this. The Genius Wand 2 from Hades will help with the fact that you want to play into Vanix. You have this Harith. You got to let him shine at some point, but already looking at this fight for mid-control, if they can get the tier 1 turret down, that might be best for whoever is able to do that before the Lord comes up.
Yeah, tier 1 mid is going to be huge. Both teams have lost a little bit on the side lanes. Nothing too major. Hades versus Sekai's, though, I'm wondering, they got to do something about Hades because Sekai's having trouble getting in onto these neutral objectives because if Hades has that ult ready to go and he lands it, it's a lot of damage onto a squishy Ling, right? And it's something you're not really able to dance around. So SRG needs to create some space when it comes down to these Lords. Taking a look at these gold differences, Diablo right now, full 1.8 ahead of Cram.
Yeah, he's been farming his mind out. JPL, though, constantly looking, possibly conceal. Man, I feel like, you know, when we saw JPL earlier in the matches, he was such a playmaker. Right now, it looks like he's struggling to really find the right setup. But he's got the, you know, he's managed to do it 4 times. It's just now at this point in the game, you have to be even more careful because of what's happened in the previous skirmishes. And although they hold, you know, a bit of a lead, look at the confidence that SRG has. They're going to go ahead, pull up the Lord, try to get the attention. Meanwhile, Diablo will continue to do this against Sakai's. So the information is already there, trying to get this retribution out. Oh, he's actually quite low, too.
Ooh.
This is dicey.
Sakai's trying to come in. Turtle does go over to SRG. Stormy finds Hades along with the Bakram. Able to answer, find one on a JPL. Now Curteezy on the run. The Monk Force drops, and Curteezy drops along with it. Vanix goes down. Stormy with a monster kill.
The Sky Prince pulls it off. Even with 25% HP, Diablo messing with him the whole time. He comes in, swoops in like the prince he is. Boom, gets the retry off and gets the safety. Meanwhile, the rest of the team handles everything. You know, he came in, did his job, and he's out of there.
They're handling business.
He handling business.
Handling business.
Pulling
up.
Like to say. Yeah, pulling up like they like to say in Florida, man.
You know. That's how they're doing. Lord going to be coming soon now on the bot side. NIP completely lose the lead. 2,000 now over to SRG, and they're going to be pushing hard on this one.
Yep, they're going to go ahead and get these tier 2 turrets now. NIP Flash, you know, they started, like I said, with a flash in the beginning. And now they're being kind of stopped here a little bit. Shields are going to pop. They might be able to hold on to this turret here. It looks like they will be able to in the bottom lane. JPL still kind of struggling to find his setup because he kind of is that front guy to be the initiator for this matchup. Also, keep an eye on Hades, on his plans there. Oh!
JPL down.
JPL
couldn't even cast
down.
that one.
He's just deleted. And, you know, at this point, Hades is like, you know what, I'll just go ahead and get these buffs. Get what I can, steal it, and try to slow down this shift.
Ooh.
But, oh, this is tough. Hades.
Yeah, a lot of damage. Tempest of Blades, right to the face. Takes Hades right out of his place. Hades down. Sekis able to put another kill down on the board.
Man, Sakai's he's tired of it. You know, he dealt with the pressure in the early game, and he's like, I am not having that anymore. Also, too, for Cram, his job has just become be a little tanky, be this tanky Dairoth, get that debuff, that armor penetration on, and then let the rest of the team shine. Meanwhile, Stormy has not died. He is basically an unkillable, whatever Fulvius is, demonic force guy.
He's a demonic force.
And how do you deal with him if you're NIP Flash? Because their lamp's pretty squishy. Diablo, look at this.
Ooh, a lot of damage on a Diablo. Pops the consecration, but damn, it's too much. The unkillable Diablo, the Demon King himself, taken out by the Sky Prince.
I've never seen a Uranus go down that fast. Like, talk about damage burst already. With Sakai's here, especially good layering, but for NIP Flash, now that the tables have turned, we're talking about 5,000 gold now in favor of the Giants here. With this momentum that they have, NIP Flash is kind of left to wonder, how do we actually win these team fights? How do we get the advantage in our favor? A Malefic Roar also being picked up by Sakai's will make that even more difficult at this point. JPL's almost at risk. I mean, he's almost... Oh!
Ooh, Curtisi pulled in with the Yama Fend, and the burst damage connects over and over, but Curtisi still able to just get away. Tempest of Blades drops, JPL flickers back. The Mons Force is there to help out, trying to dance around Van X, trying, but he still falls. That's one down. SRG, it's all they need to try to move over. But Hades now trying to lock onto Krem here. Gets the ult off. But he lives! And he falls for that one! Sec guys! 5, 2, and 4.
Krem just stood there because he's like, nah, I'm fine. I have an Athena shield. I'm good,
bruh.
I'm good. And they're going to get the Lord off that too. So SRG, man, talk about a shift completely in momentum from what we saw in the early game here. Again, looking at it, he's got Radiant Armor and Athena Shield. His job literally is just to go in and, like I said, get the debuff and survive as long as you can. Again, a pull.
Oh my god, the damage is just too fast. Curtisi falls down. 2 members. Hades just gonna come back onto the Land of Dawn to try to defend the push. But SRG have a Lord coming, so they can just take their time with this. You know, Krem, we thought he was gonna be the burster. Nah, bro. I got a Ling for that. I got a Sky Prince for that.
You got Innocent.
I got Innocent for that, bro.
Innocent has just had what I like to call the gold lane experience. He just farmed up his entire time. He's online now. He's ready to rock and roll. But, you know, at this point, it's going to be very grim, very difficult for NIP Flash to defend against this. With this kind of power spike in favor of SRG. Look at this. Turret just dismantled quickly. Lord still up. They want to fight.
JPL can't even look for the kick because Yums is always there to lock him, but here comes JPL to the backside, trying to get a target, but the Lord already connected onto the base. JPL eliminated. Hades able to find Storm. His Mons Force does drop, and the base is down to 30%, and SRG will take game number 1.
And the Red Giants come out swinging to game number 1 of this best of 5. And man, that was the answer. We were wondering, what's the answer to the Martis? Well, it's the Sky Prince, along with the squad here. Again, great squad. Great performance from Selangor Red Giants, man. With this kind of lineup, with the trouble that they had in the early game, talk about the adjustment. And that is why these guys have been undefeated for, I don't know, 100+ days at this point. The synergy they have, the way that they can pick up each other from the different lanes, different roles, are great. So let's go ahead and throw it over to our panelists to see what they have to say about game 1.
What we have to say? Dude, that was clean. That was clean coming in from SRG.
That was huge momentum. I mean, I thought the early game was pretty much doomed, right? How many kills was given over to NIP Flash? And somehow we did see SRG swing it back in their favor off of one singular fight.
Yeah, this fight, which kind of proves to me that at least the Land of Dawn Lord is actually Malaysian. You know?
Yeah.
That's...
I mean,
it felt that way.
Here's the thing: the Sky Prince Skies did his job, but the Prodigy, man, Stormy, like he's like, okay, you want to play fighter mid? We'll fight fire with fire.
Yeah, this is amazing. And this is why I felt like picking up the Martis, and you did ask me during the pre-show, this Martis will be noticed by SRG. No way Coach Arcadia will not have a plan for that. And apparently they had it. I also love this Darth pickup because the Uranus was picked up very early. I think NIP Flash was actually kind of anticipating the Phoebus that will be eventually picked, because Uranus is an answer to the Phoebus, but they did not take for account this Darth. Darth was Ling, classic combo from way back, and you can see how big, how massive it is in the mid game.
Apply that shred, just let Ling do all the rest of the damage, and if you need a little bit extra, Dyroth can even add their ult into the mix.
I mean, we gotta talk about the new item. Well, not new item. It's been revamped, right? The Clock of Destiny on this Phoebus, making it so that he's even more tanky. He died once, but letting Stormy die at one time, it took a while.
I agree with that. I do think it was an interesting build to actually adapt into the Clock of Destinies. However, it does come with a couple of setbacks. I mean, even when we're talking about the latest item that has been revamped as well, the Thunderbelt, as soon as you start stacking that hybrid defense, anybody who has percentage armor shred, similar to Dyroth, similar to having a Malefic Roar, you really start to see, like, is it truly worth it compared to just the Sky Guardian helmet?
Yeah, probably. That's always a toss. I think it will be dependent on the actual execution. I think that because you want some magic damage to on this Phobius, particularly in this game. You kind of want to have some sort of build up, at least some sort of additional damage, because if you pick up the Dyroth plus the Ling and the Moskov, that's so much physical damage.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, it was the complete opposite here for NIP Flash. That's why I thought the Amon was okay. Yeah, it works in the early stages, but then it was like Harith, Uranus, and then Amon. Your only physical damage is the Martis. It's like completely reversed between the two teams. I would favor physical damage because it's more scaling, and you saw that after an abysmal early game, they recovered, and in the late game, it was difficult for the physical damage dealers that scale to be dealt with.
Now here's the thing, like, it was a very bad start for SRG, but somehow they were able to claw it back up. Can you show with Bob what really happened that made SRG win the game again? Win back the game.
The most important, I would say, timestamp for this one is at the 9-minute mark, where it was the First Lord. And we are going to see that there are good steps that NIP Flash did, but only some minor mistakes that they kind of let through that made this difficult. So at 9 minutes in, they were ahead about 2,300 gold, as you can see up top. And then if we look at the minimap, I do hope that we will be looking at this minimap. There you go. There is an invasion that was being done by Uranus. Maybe it's not that clear at this point, but that is the first step. And then the next step is to actually look at the Lord, wherein it was NIP Flash started it. But now you look at Mr. Hades, who actually popped the ultimate at this point. So if you think about it, the HP of the Lord is not yet at retribution range. Usually when you pick up the Amon, you utilize the ultimate and then retribution, right? So that there will be no steal. This actually allowed the Ling to catch up. And then another mishap happens. Look at this. Look at that, a puddle of water. At the feet of Hades, which is clearly a problem. Got knocked up at the most opportune moment. Stormy pops him as well with the damage coming up from COD. And at this time, Phobius is already a threat, and there's no need to explain the other stuff. Obviously, this will be in favor of NIP Flash. So while it is good that they did the invasion with the Uranus, just, you know, starting on that opposing purple buff. It's also good that they bursted down the Lord, but I think just the timing of the ultimate, as well as not looking at your hero, was the problem for Hades. I think, and this is my guess, I think it was looking at another part of the map. Yeah. Because he probably dragged this map, you know?
I personally think that it's a little tough to say exactly what happened here, but I do want to bring up the fact that even before and after that fight, Diablo could not frontline for the team, because essentially he invaded, like you pointed out before, and that kind of gave vision on where exactly Ling was. But you mentioned it during when we were talking about it, that even for Skies, he comes in, retributes the Lord, steals it away, and opts to go a completely separate direction where the main force is pushing into the enemy back line, and Diablo continues to chase Ling.
Speaking of Skies, we got to look at our Sony MVP, and it's the Sky Prince, Skies, using the Ling. Even though the early game didn't look as good, but the turtle steals, the Lord steals, and the burst of damage, even Uranus can't take it.
I want you guys to actually look back at this game and notice that because of how bad the early game was for Sakai, he decided to, at 5 minutes into the game, stay into the top lane. Of course, he's going to take his jungle, but he actually took a lot of minions up top. That meant that Cram will have to sacrifice one lane, actually went to the mid lane. They also know that Stormy as well will not have as much farm, but they have recovery farm for Sakai. And look at that. 2 blades, more than enough. The damage is just too much. Sakai's not, you know, being tilted, not panicking, actually gets the first turtle of this game and then Flash farmed up top. While it's true that Moskov had the gold lane experience, Sakai's also had a unique experience of his own.
I think he had moving. I mean, that's the thing. To me, that looked like Cram knew, okay, I could die here, but I also couldn't. And considering everything that has happened, like, you got to give it to Sakai at this point of time, right? But the decisions being made, sacrificing gold and EXP from Cram to make sure that he is even level, despite Hades having a whopping early game, was actually a really smart choice. And it also attributes to the problem. A lot of magic damage. Cram was like, okay, I'm not building damage. Give me Athena Shield, Radiant Armor, and I might be able to survive.
Skipping the dominant size. We don't need that dominant size anymore.
Who needs it?
Only the Martis is a threat when it comes to physical.
Skies. Come on, man. The Sky Prince.
I love it.
And again, like, he definitely showed off his moniker, man. Looking at how he's been moving around all across the map. And like you said, the most important thing was that he didn't choke. It's like, okay, I didn't do all that great in the early game, but as long as I farm up, it should be fine.
Yeah, it's all about it's a team recovery. And I think for SRG, one of the biggest traits that I actually asked Coach Arcadia why this, ragtag band of misfits were able to, and I say that because there was a lot of criticism when this group was put together.
Yes.
He said the chemistry is something that you can never take away. He almost attributed it to luck, that he felt that he was lucky because the players had this weird connection for some reason. Because let's be honest, SRG's success is very fast.
Yeah, you know what? We want to touch on that a little bit more. But for now, starting on July 24th, is the female pro players' time to shine. Catch the MLBB Women's Invitational 2024, where 12 teams from 11 regions break barriers and redefine esports. So again, it's July 24. Make sure you guys check it out. And I do want to talk about it because here's the thing. We want to hear more about their connection. With that being said, let's throw over it. There's a video between Arcadia as well as Yums.
It's best to have a young core. It can be a long-term lineup.
Like just now we discussed, all these players are actually under 20. Is this part of your plan?
I would say yes, because when I was still in my former team, like before RQ, which is Echo, my vision in getting Sanji and Sanford is to make sure that the core lineup is young. Because they are young, it's still easy for the organization to stick with the players because they still have a lot of ages to play. And unfortunately, sometimes in esports, when you get older, reflexes doesn't get better. We were thinking that it's best to have a young core. It can be a long-term lineup.
That's actually an interesting perspective. Making sure that you get them while they're still young so that they have a long period of time in the pro scene. I haven't thought of that.
Even outside the game, it seems like SRG's game style is scaling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. You guys are talking about it every single time I'm able to talk to SRG. They never talk about in-game stuff.
Yeah.
They keep saying our synergy outside of game is amazing just because we're roughly the same age. And like Coach Arcadia says, like, it's weird. They just have this magical connection.
It kind of, the way that he described it is that it was almost instant. The way that they managed to kind of play together as a team, and the synergy was there. But at the same time, they also played a lot. Before that, they also had different targets every time that they train. So it's not just like, okay, play this hero, master this hero. No, it's not like that. They try to plan where they have to focus on for each and passing day.
I do think that this is a lot attributed to the fact that Selangor Red Giants Esports, they are backed by a football club, a state football club. Right?
He actually mentioned that.
Yeah, and the important thing about this is because before this squad even got together to play competitively, they had quote unquote a boot camp, a bonding experience, and I think a lot of those similar traditional sport methods really came into play to help build that chemistry and connection.
I'm so glad you pointed that out because that was actually coming from Coach Arcadia himself. It was that sports mindset wherein you don't have to look for immediate results. You have to really trust the process, and that's really what happened with SRG.
I mean, I hope more teams learn from this because, again, we've seen many different teams. One season, you're out, right? And again, like you guys said, it's a process, and we can see inside the mind of Coach Arcadia is that grab the players that have a long lifespan in the scene. With that being said, we're about to jump into the draft. Right now, NIP Flash have shown the Marcus is still very, very strong, almost getting a lot of first bloods in the start of the game. But again, it looks like SRG has the answer for it, and it might be the Phobias. And the thing is, Stormy's a prodigy. He could use anything, so he might have different fighters in the back of his pocket.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest with you, sometimes when I'm talking to, especially with the Zoroveki, he's explaining to me, sometimes the players are just, here's a suggestion, right? It's not even part of the main scrim lineup that they've been practicing over the past couple of months. Sometimes it's spontaneous.
Which speaks to how good the fundamentals are for SRG, and I think that is what they developed as well. Coach Arcadia himself told me that they had to develop the fundamentals so rigidly, and it's really what they hammer into the heads of their players, because if you master the fundamentals so much, it won't matter if you had to adjust, like for example, pick up the Phobius afterwards. Maybe there will come a point that utility should be the choice for Sekais, right? And they are prepared for that. So this is what makes SRG a scary club to actually face off against.
Yeah, no, honestly, like Sekais, Coach Rosario Vecchi said that this, like, Sekais makes his life so easy because if the meta asks for assassins, he can use it. If the meta asks for tanks, he can use it. If the meta asks for mage, sure, he can probably use it. With that being said, it looks like NIP Flash has started their bans and they're banning out the Angela as well as the Valentina. SRG bans out the Chip as well as Moskov. Looking like NIP Flash is blue side and SRG is red side.
Okay.
The fact that they're getting rid of the Angela and as well. Don't worry, I'll give you some time. Because the fact that we're seeing that NIP Flash is taking out the Angela as well as the Valentina doesn't seem like they're changing the strategy too much. But the real question really boils down to, are you going to get rid of heroes that force you to play a certain style, right? Yeah. And that's usually the Lo Yi, maybe even the Ling.
And it will be Harith as the ban for NIP Flash. So as a recap, that's Angela, Van, and Harith. Cheap, Moskov, and they're still thinking about it for
I mean, I'm thinking whether or not they're just going to open both and be like, hey, I mean, Roger's kind of good, you know? Yeah. If NIP Flash gets it, that's totally fine. But at the same time, they've got to have some backup plans.
Yeah. I believe that, Roger. Oh, sorry, Sir Roger. So I think NIP Flash, I think you're better off picking up the Ling instead of the Louis because I feel that it's difficult to kind of play Louis when there's a Ling, but then again, Louis is Louis, so...
Louis is just one of those heroes where it's like, well, I mean, even if I die, at least I've TP'd my entire
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I did my job. I did my double vacuum and my TP. I'm ready, good to get out, you know?
Yep.
Looks like it is Louis, indeed.
Yep, NIP Flash first picks up the Louis. SRG, I wonder if they want to pick up the Ling again.
Ling Ruby, perhaps?
Yeah, sounds good.
It has been a strong opener for SRG for the most part of it, right? But at the same time, I am questioning whether or not Edith should come into play in these points of times because, again, it really boils down for Singapore to have these not only early game compositions, but real control over the lanes, which has been a top priority for them since the beginning of the tournament.
Okay. Looks like SRG is thinking their pick here, so... Again, taking their time, but looks like they're picking up the Ling and the Claude. That's very interesting, picking up the Claude this early.
Yup, very, very honest. Do you pick up the Rizla in this situation? I believe that that should be a good answer here, and then the Arlet as well. But then you kind of reveal both.
Exactly. I think that Terizla is too much of a dead giveaway. I think if you start with the Arlet, at least you have a little bit more flexibility coming into the second phase.
But you need a Vanix hero too, so...
That's true. I mean, they gotta lock it in now before it gets banned out later.
That's true. Like, I don't know, will they be forced with a Nathan?
That would be dangerous because I'm pretty sure Yums can use the Lolita.
That's right. Which also should be picked up by NIP Flash, but I think they will not third pick it. And then the worst that can happen is that the third pick is Link Claude. Oh, of
Benedetta
course.
Grok. They want to win the mid and they want to win the EXP lane, so they're creating a triangle here.
Interesting. With Benedetta being the Swiss Army knife of most EXP lanes, and honestly, doesn't really have a bad or super good matchup. At the end of the day, it's about that control like we were talking about. I'm getting the suspicion that they're going to start invading this lane on purple whenever they have the opportunity. Maybe even get a proxy if mid is going well.
Cho looks good. Cho looks good for SRG.
Honestly, with just the 3 picks here, I actually want to ask our casters, looking at NIP Flash's pick, Louis, Benedetta, as well as Grok. The Benedetta with Diablo has been amazing. What do you guys think of the first 3 picks for NIP Flash?
For NIP Flash, I'm loving it, man. I think this might be and I was talking about the Uranus pick last game with the Diablo. This time he gets his Benedetta, so hopefully this helps answer some of the problems here that they dealt with earlier.
You know, I love that NIP doesn't... They're able to stick to what's comfortable for them while also adding a little flavor here and there. SRG, though, man, that Claude pick. I think we all thought the Ruby was coming in a second pick, but the Claude pick was genius because of so many marksmen being banned out. And now with NIP not picking it up, it's going to be tough if more marksmen get banned out as well.
Yeah, but that being said, the Ruby did get picked up by SRG as well. So for now, it's looking pretty solid for both teams. SRG having the Ruby has a little bit of flexibility here. And Gideon, SRG bans out the Guinevere.
I think it's a good option because at the end of the day, pickoffs are really strong when you have waves, especially heroes that control the waves well. They're always going to be there first. Their hit and runs are just going to be much, much faster. And I think from this point onwards, SRG is probably thinking, all right, if we don't have control over the lanes, what's the next best thing that we can do? And probably just invest a little bit more down by gold side by having a dedicated, maybe even a babysit lane.
Okay. So that is Roger and Gwyn for SRG as the next bans. Let's Lilia apparently for NIP Flash. Pretty smart.
Yeah, because again, looking at the mid coming in from NIP Flash, they can get mid prio, so without that Lilia, it's going to be difficult for Stormy. And looks like SRG are banning out the Baxia, so they ban out Guinevere and Baxia.
All right.
So now for NIP Flash, they ban out the Lilia. Honestly, Casters, what do you think about this Lilia ban, as well as Aurora ban?
Yeah, they're locking down Stormy's options here, man. I think that's probably one of the things you really want to do for NIP Flash because, hey, Stormy had a hell of a game the previous one, and again, it was on a Phoveus, but I think even if you go and deal with Lilia, that's great. Aurora has been a go-to pick for a lot of these mid laners, so I think good quality bans here coming out from NIP.
Yeah, definitely solid all around. I mean, both teams are going to have to struggle for some picks here. We still need it's going to be a hard-to-pick mid laner and a hard-to-pick jungler from the set of NIP, so... Oh, no Varia, though. Still open and super clean.
There's Varia. Yeah.
Called it.
I think this is a safe bet, personally. I think at the very least, SRG wants to see the full lineup of NIP Flash before they decide anything else, and playing around the information, considering that you don't necessarily have to like participate in the laning phase as a Novaria, is not bad of an option.
Because this should be an assassin here for NIP Flash. Maybe I'm thinking of Julian actually, which is be okay for NIP Flash. That means that you're going to be looking for a lot of physical damage from the gold lane. If not, this will be like Nathan Nolan for NIP Flash. But that opens up the Lolita. The Julian is great for NIP Flash for sure, but that means that they will have to go for a marksman that is physical based, which at this point you're only left with what? Beatrix?
What about Clint?
It's tough. I mean, especially when you have the Ling there.
Alpha Bruno.
Oh man, this is definitely Lolita, right? For Yumes.
I wouldn't be too surprised if we do see it.
Wait, what about picking up something like a Yuzong here?
That's what I was thinking as well, because again, if you don't want to act... Again, Ruby is a great flex pick, but at the end of the day, if you just chase down the Bruno and kind of split apart the entirety of the team, then it still disrupts NIP Flash.
Yeah. Benefit of Yuzong is it's good versus Louis. It's actually a recommended pickup when the Louis is picked up, because you just counter that ultimate. I mean, not really counter that ultimate, but at the same time, kind of have a reset button for your team. The benefit of Lolita is like it's great versus both Bruno as well as the Louis.
Looks like the final pick is the Yuzong indeed. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for the analysis. Looks like we've been calling a lot of the draft here. So again, thank you very much. But for now, Casters, I hope you guys are ready, because NIP Flash, SRG, we're going to our second game. Now it's over to you guys.
Thank you guys again for the breakdown there for the draft here. Again, it's me, Naisu, and Trex here on the desk, ready to bring you game number 2 here in this best of 5. And with the lineup that we're seeing, Trex, I'm liking NIP Flash's composition this time.
It's definitely, it doesn't look as like there's as many answers. The big problem, though, and another genius play by the coach of SRG, man, Yume's the Ruby getting flexed into the roam now. We've all been waiting for the Ruby roam, but it's mostly been AXP, but that's going to be a beautiful answer to the alpha now. It's like every time they always find something to put a wrench in NIP Flash's plans.
Hey, man, that's going to be Coach Arcadia for you here, but we're going to jump into the land of Donna once again, seeing if NIP Flash can go ahead and narrow down the series, get it to a 1-for-1. We'd love to see these 5 games of these Titans from their regions clash it out. Again, the first time that one of these teams will make it to the grand final here for the MSC 2024. And looking at this too, I'm glad to see Alpha come to play, man. It's funny because I have you on desk here with me, and I know you've shared your sentiments about Alpha. But in the hands of Hades, hey, maybe he can make it work.
Honestly, Alpha has had some good runs. He's also had some very bad runs. He's kind of on the 50-50 right now. I didn't pay attention to what the win rate was, but I think we've seen some teams playing very well, and we've seen some teams playing very bad. So we'll see how he works out here.
Yeah, and part of that, Trex, is actually the fact that you get this great advantage early on, but wow, actually, Sakai's, is he going to push this? Okay, he's not. So part of the fact that you have this alpha early on, the damage is pretty good, but you pair it up with a Louis Yi, and I think that's going to be classic here when it comes to the first objective take. The amount of damage you can pump out on Louis Yi early on is quite shocking for a lot of people to deal with. You pair that up with an early level 4 Spear of Alpha, and you know, that's why Sakai's also wants to keep an eye on Hades, trying to keep him from getting that level 4. Tempest of Blades.
Both able to hit the level 4, though, cleanly. Still at an even jungle rate. Turtle's going to be up in 20 seconds. Both teams poking, putting the feelers out, but nothing too major yet.
Okay, here's the question for you. You haven't seen Bruno too much, maybe a couple times throughout the knockout stage. You think it's going to work here for Vanix this time? Because, let's be honest, he struggled in the previous game.
He definitely struggled in the previous game, but there was some reasons for that. I think this time there's possibilities for him. We do have some big crit damage there, a little less shred, and because there's a few more squishies, there's some targets he can get down onto. There's possibilities for him to pop off, but again, a lot of that comes to how the team is going to play around it.
Yeah, again, Turtle's going to be up now. Objective's going to be the focus.
Oh, there's a speaking of Vanix.
Hey, Vanix having a better game already. Gets first blood on this Bruno pick. So that's about as good of a start as you can hope for on the Bruno for Vanix. So great start. Innocent does go down. It's not often you see that where, you know, some miscalculations from Innocent. And you know the Claude takes a lot longer to build up. Bruno, traditionally, maybe 2 items. Good diversion play, too, here.
Beautiful diversion play. They're going to lock on to Sekai's. The Sky Prince pops. That Tempest of Blades is able to just get away with the Finch Poise, but they got the orange buff, and either way, that is a dub for NIP, but now they're on the run. Innocent with a Blazing Duet, able to connect onto both. Sekai's trying to maybe think about the pop-in, think about the engage. They decide to back off, though.
Ignore the turtle for now. Let's just duke it out. Let's just fight, they say. But now with that, you know, losing that orange buff isn't going to be anything too crazy for Sakai's. He does have his purple at least, and they might make their way for this turtle now. They're going to go ahead and focus out JPL so he can't get that setup he's looking for. Still has the wild charge and the flicker. So this is going to be a little bit of a crucial moment for both these teams. Real quick, too, no first items locked in just yet. Still on the way there. Couple level 2 boots also locked in for some of the roamers, the XP laners. Fury Hammer, though, for Diablo could be enough damage to pump out a possible kill early on. Remember, too, he's got that Petrify. So on the flip side, both XP laners, top side again.
They're going at it.
They're going at it, man.
Blow for blow.
Lane, yeah. But they're going to start up the turtle finally. Again, keep an eye on both XP laners as they approach this, utilizing the Petrifies if they can. Cram waits patiently.
I'm offended. Locks on to Hades. Sakai's looking for the backside, trying to lock onto one, but he gets petrified, knocked off the wall. Tempest Blades does come down, able to get the kill onto Hades there. That's 1 down and a turtle. Sakai's able to secure it. SRG coming out on top in the fight.
Man, the timing here. I'm not sure if they're going to actually be able to force JPL down. They might want to.
Diablo may be able to help out, but Humes doesn't want to give it up. He's at least going to zone him away, and that's going to help out Cram here. SRG don't force it.
Man, going back again to that turtle fight, great timing from Cram to use that dragon form that he lands the Petrify. They have enough CC to even just go ahead and handle Hades and then get the objective. So timings on the initiation. Here we go. We're going to look at the STC replay. This is what I'm talking about. Cram goes in, finds 2 targets, throws him in. Even JPL uses the wild charge, but flickers out. Unfortunately, they can't get that kill, but they get everything else they wanted for SRG.
Yeah, they're going to have to start thinking about this lane, man. Sakai's is a problem, and they don't have an answer, but Curtizi looking for the diversion once again, just like last time, except this time it's a different Creek camp. Innocent, though, onto him, pops the BMI. Looking for the dash over to Spear of Alpha, connects. Innocent able to BMI away. Tempest of Blades comes down, knocks up Hades. Looking for the next target. Curtizi trying to run, trying to get away, but Sakai's won't let it happen today. Sakai's now maybe in a bad spot as well. Diablo, Vanix, locked up, but look at the damage. Diablo able to get the kill before Vanix drops, though. That's 2 for 1. Jungler for jungler, mid lane as well.
Oh, do they? I thought they wanted more, but man, talk about the mechanics on Innocent here. You know, going back to what we heard from Coach Arcadia.
Ooh, I'm offended. Followed up by the Blazing Duet. The trade happens, but Vanix finally goes down, and Innocent gets his revenge.
Oh, Diablo, who part of this fight. Again, Innocent with the mechanics here. Just great escape earlier on with the BMI, the way that he even used it to go ahead and spawn out that bush, that diversion play. So he'll be fine for now. Continue to farm up and just already makes up for, you know, that first blood that went over to Vanex earlier on. And now they find themselves with the second turtle up too. So, you know, these minor things for SRG gives them a very small lead ahead.
Oh, the positioning from Cram there, waiting for Hades to come back to his bush. And Sekai's dances over. They pick up the kill.
Oh, again, it's just looking like NIP Flash is just kind of getting outplayed around the map. And part of that too is just this is what a Ling does. I'm surprised again Sekai's gets it, because he's able to find his timings and movement around the map so well here. In conjunction with the fact that you have Cram on this Yuzhong, it was a great last pick because the Yuzhong and the Novaria allow you to go ahead and just spot things out across the map, whether that's with the Echo, whether that's with the Dragon form.
Even there, they don't even need the Retribution. They know they can secure the turtle. They use Sekai's to take the tier 3 on the bot side. I mean, SRG's rotations right now are just so clean all around the map.
I'm going to say it again, man. You know, I'm sorry I said it earlier about the Alpha, but this is looking like what we saw back, you know, with a familiar team. He's struggling right now. 0-3, has not been able to do much at all for Hades this time around. And it's looking grim already, and the reason why I say that is because if Alpha doesn't have a good start, he naturally falls off, you know, towards the mid to late game transition. So when you have a tough start in the beginning, you really have to rely on the team here. Looking at the items, he's only got the War Axe. You have a Berserker's Fury and a Haas Claws over on the other side. Look at the gap. You know, 1,000 gold ahead too for Sekai's, and that is going to play a part in even the next objective. So still, you know, you have to, like I said, you have to rely on the rest of the team to really pick things up here for NIP.
All right, so NIP. Oh, nice wild charge. Trying to pick things up like you said, but the damage comes in from Nooms. Big I'm offended. Pulse 2 into the blazing duet. And now JPL in a little bit of trouble, but Sekai's the sky. Rains down upon him, but Sekai still goes down. Diablo able to get the kill. It's 4 for 1. NIP in trouble.
That's a trade you're going to take any day. A 4 for 1 trade. And still, Cram going to go ahead and battle it out with Diablo here. He gets taken down. Skypiercer's going to go ahead and proc too. So Diablo gets one, but man, talk about an exchange from SRG. Not sure if Diablo can do much more other than clear the lane. Looks like, again, a diversion's going to be used to just get in position, but they're 15 seconds away from the Lord here.
15 seconds from a big push from either team. Most likely SRG will have positioning over it. We've seen possibilities from NIP, but even when they get the big knockup, even when they're able to make a play happen, SRG responds so well. And Humes, Vanex taken down as well. He got his 1v1 back-to-back now. Innocent for Vanex, back and forth.
Innocent, a beast himself. I mean, he got the one down earlier on, then is now 4-1. Diablo, though.
Diablo, look for the 1v1 himself. Tempest of Blades does come down. Diablo able to eye for an eye away. Out of the damage, but Sekai still on the chase. And it's hard to run from a Ling, but wait, is this going to be the outplay? Sekai smells it in the air. He gets away.
How does he keep getting the Ling? I mean, he's doing things like this, and it looks like, too, they just went ahead and started up the Lord, and they take it with Innocent.
Ooh, so much damage on Hades. Hades trying to get away with the Spear of Alpha, but Cram still gets the kill with the passive.
Oh,
now Kurt.
Cutting it close. Kurt. But, man, SRG, just like we saw previously, this is their power play. This is their movements that they make time and time again from what we've seen from them. And just patiently waiting. Sekai's has done this multiple times. And you're wondering, what can NIP Flash do to stay in the game? We're only 10 minutes in. Lord pushing down the bottom side. These tier 2s are going to fall. Diablo stays up on the top to try to keep that wave from pushing in. But these buffs are all going to go in the hands of Sekai's here. Good damage, though.
Oh, they just missed Stormy. JPL's going to go down for that one. Sekai's with another kill. And now Lord's still coming. They can send Stormy back. It's okay.
That was a little desperate, you know, from JPL. It's kind of like, you know, you try to get at least something. Shields are going to pop, and now the Lord is here on the bottom side. Look at Humes. Look at the positioning. Zoning them out completely. They're afraid of the I'm Offended.
Ooh, and there's the I'm Offended. Speaking of it, Hades gets the Spear of Alpha, brings a bunch of them back, and Diablo strikes back with a double kill. Cram, Humes down for the price of nothing. NIP able to defend now. They lose an inhibitor, and here comes a diversion play. They're going to try to lock onto another member. Stormy under the tier 3. They get the petrify. They get the kill. And now they find some answers. Innocent, though, comes in with Blazing Duet, finds Vanex. Curteasy goes down next. Innocent with the double. He gets shut down from Diablo. Sekai's now in a weird position. Needs to go for the tower. Maybe even needs to get out of here.
Man, talk about Diablo, the saving grace here for NIP Flash. He's 7-0 right now. And this is literally, as we look at the STC replay, great positioning. This is already after he got multiple kills. Good attempt from Innocent to get what he can, but Diablo right now, the damage is there, and this is why they wanted that Benedetta. Because, man, it's almost to the point where, all right, I've got to put this on my shoulders. We've seen him do it time and time before in his past. He's got that Blade of FCs, he's got Sky Piercer, and the Blade of Despair. That's enough to be able to pump out all that damage. But if he gets taken out, man, do you lose so much fighting power with NIP Flash right now. You need so much more time for them to catch up. Because, again, it's only 3 items here for Vanex, and look at the fight for the resources.
Sekai's back to the backside once again. Curteasy goes down. Next might just be JPL, but the Blazing Duet able to shred things away. Innocent finds JP. Vanex, Curteasy, 3 members down, make it 4 as Sekai's cleans up the pieces. Diablo tries to save it all, but he can't. Innocent with a double. It's a full 5-man wipe.
Oh, it's a full 5-man wipe, and I think they're just going to go ahead and run it down mid lane. They tried to fight, but it's just too much of a lead for SRG.
NIP, the rumbling is upon us. The Titans are here, and the Giants take game number 2.
The Giants are upon us. The rumbling. As NIP Flash feels the brute force of this lineup. Time and time again, whether it be the Sky Prince, whether it just be Humes, any of these members here, Innocent as well, even after going down early on in the game, comes back just massively on this Claude, even able to outplay that initiation from Diablo earlier on with that Wind of Nature. They're just looking too good here, and right now it's a lot to be said. Match point is what they're facing. But let's go ahead and throw it over to the panel to have them break it down.
I mean, where do we start? I kind of just want to go to the end, that clean wipe at the end of the game that just solidifies it. Like, this is amazing, but Diablo as well. I kind of feel like this Benedetta, we got to watch out for that one.
He's kind of a beast, I'm not going to lie. Like, there was a moment in the game where he nearly 1v3'd the entire backline, and if he was successful in doing so, probably would have bought an extra 2 to 3 minutes for the entirety of NIP Flash. But I think that, the biggest concern right now is the later stages of the game for this squadron. It looks like, time and time again, Vanex is really having a hard time against SRG.
I think it was the draft. I think, honestly, with the Yu Zhong last pick, the choice to go for the Alpha, it's probably like at the bottom of my list. When you're looking at playing up against a Claude and a Novaria, you definitely have to have some dive. Obviously, you have the Benedetta for that one, right? But it proves to be not enough in this case. And there was a looming problem of this Bruno. This has a timer. Bruno will almost win almost all of the early game, but he has to win the early game. He has to dominate the early game.
I mean, when we're talking about a draft, now NIP Flash doesn't have a lot of time because it's match point. It's 2-0. SRG needs one more win to make history. Malaysia going to the grand finals. That's something big. And NIP Flash, I'm pretty sure they want to stop that one. Innocent has the highest goal per minute, and Stormy dealt the most amount of damage, and he had the most assists.
Yeah, no, I have to give it to Stormy because I don't know if it's like a team game sense or great communication, but the fact that he is identifying exactly when these diversions are coming out and even calling them with the Astral Echo is a huge play because it only happened twice where it's like, oh, we got flanked. Luckily, we got out of there one time. The other time, man, they never got away with it again.
Novaria against Loyi, that is definitely the answer. I think we've seen this first in MSC group stages coming from Fireflux Esports when they utilized that Astral Echo against Loyi. Not all teams can easily do that, but SRG is a team that knows how to utilize this Novaria, support it with the Yu Zhong, and totally you counter the Luyi presence.
I mean, again, he's a prodigy, man. Stormy is a prodigy. Speaking of which, it's good game sense coming in from everyone because I still remember there was a play where Skies the Sky Prince was chasing after Diablo, the devil, and it's like, wait, something suspicious here. You're very low, and yet I don't feel you're afraid.
Yeah,
dude, he called that diversion play. That was amazing.
Honestly, it's one of those things where it's like outer world sense. It's like the spidey senses are tingly, and I gotta start backing away. And I probably think that he probably communicated with Stormy to say, hey, maybe they could be in there. Let's just move on over just in case.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of good communications between the members of SRG. Speaks to their synergy as well.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that the draft will be very easy for them to execute, all they had to do was to be very patient. Even when there are a lot of invasions that was done by the Alpha as well as the Luyi in the early stages of the game, all you have to do is do not overextend. You cannot fix your farm right now, but if you become patient, wait for your timings, give up one buff, okay, but move on and do not give up your life so that you can still farm up afterwards. After back-to-back games, I think that they're the masters of this kind of gameplay.
Honestly, this match has been amazing. Could you show us more with the telestrator? Can Bob help you out by showing us what happened in the game?
Yeah, we can see it in the, I think this is the second turtle of the game. Most importantly for Hades, he waited for his level 7 to come up, which eventually he did. So you're going to be wondering, oh, this is actually the first turtle, right? 3 minutes and 50 seconds, first turtle of the game, because they try to delay it actually. So if you look back at the tape, you're going to find out that Hades was waiting for his level 7 so that he is one level ahead of Sekai. But what SRG was able to achieve after this is going to be the way that they approach team fights, which is to go on to Hades. Hades is a utility jungler. So when he's already outside of their own box, remember, the box for utility junglers, utility jungler setup, you can be gone upon. And this is Yumes with essentially unlimited amount of lockdown. You have Stormy with a limited amount of poke, and obviously one combo from the Yuzhong is already enough to put Hades low. And now he's desperate enough to put himself in danger once again, getting taken out, giving up Sekai's this turtle uncontested. So was it a mistake for NIP Flash going up against SRG in this scenario? I think it is. I think that they should have just rushed the turtle as soon as they can, especially in the first 2 minutes of the game. The moment that they waited for one item to be available for Cram or for Yumes, for example, or Sekai's, most importantly, that is when the problems arose.
I think it begs the question, right? How decisive is NIP Flash in these like really close moments, especially moment-to-moment gameplays? Because even when we saw from Bob, we saw the Diablo using the Petrify quite early to knock Sekai's off of the wall to try and limit his influence over stealing away the Lord. But at the same time, SRG, they spotted that and they started pushing forward and pushed them off the turtle entirely. So I think as of right now, even if it isn't just the draft, at the very least gameplay-wise, they need to be, well, as you've all been memeing this entire tournament, together.
I mean, like, here's the thing. You got to watch our Sony MVP, and it's going to be Yumes, the roamer, coming in from Selangor Red Giants. And let's talk about his plays as well. A lot of engagement tools coming in from Yumes. And again, he's been on the international scene for how many times now? Before this with Dota, but now with Selangor Red Giants.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of highlights from Yumes, especially this is indeed the first turtle where they were able to punish Hades and then piggyback off of that. There will be another play where Yumes as well as Cram will combo together to take out Hades once again in the mid game, which I think is such a thing of beauty, and he's willing to kind of sacrifice himself as the Ruby, as a position 5 to eventually give it for a team. And can I just say that it is fair to assume that Yumes has, ever since he went to Red Giants, like always he's always been criticized, right? Because of in TikTok usually because of the plays. Kosher K just said that he looked at Yumes not because of the fails he was able to do, but because of what he's able to achieve in the international stage. The rough translation is, look at what he's doing right instead of focusing on what he was doing wrong. Or when he fails an initiation, for example, when he's TikTokable because of the bad plays that he's doing. Never mind that. Look at what he's able to achieve for the team. Look at how good of a veteran he is, and look at what he's doing correctly for a team composition.
I think the truth of the matter is the fact that Coach Arcadia doesn't really tunnel vision on that mistakes and saw the entirety of what this player is capable of. The real question is, can I build a team that actually keeps up with him?
Yeah. Well, he did.
Dude, like, here's the thing. We got to talk about Diablo, man, because Diablo tried his very best in that game. But again, it's still very difficult going up against SRG, where got to talk about Innocent the Beast against Ruler of the Underworld, Diablo. I got to say, man, in terms of looking at SRG, I'm having a tough time pinpointing where's the weak spot. right? Where do you attack to make SRG crumble?
I think it's a step-by-step process, right? I think, first of all, when it comes to their gameplay, they really need to solidify their calls. Secondly, as Wolf has mentioned before, the drafts have not really been benefiting too many people. Yeah. Usually, okay, Diablo gets a really good pick. You saw in that game, even if he's 7-0-0,
yeah,
he's unable to carry the whole team on his back.
And now we got to look at the redemption to domination. Let's talk about Innocent as well as Hades here. Again, like, Innocent, before he came in, everyone was like, Slangry Giants, what are you doing? Why are you picking up this guy?
Yeah, I think Innocent is... I think the way that Coach Arcadia also described Innocent is that he actually was very much impressed of Innocent. It's just like Innocent has not been in a team that can actually activate him, and it kind of feels like SRG is going to be the team that was able to really make Innocent shine, and boy, he is shining. I remember this Harith game where he was able to get like 3 solo pickups. And it's really, really calm.
I hate the fact that he's so calm. It's honestly really scary when he's calm, because in a lot of these moments, even when you start to believe like maybe somebody needs to beat him in lane, right? But then you see how he plays team fights, and it's even more dangerous. And then we jump back over to people who are diving the back line like Diablo, right? And even then, the margins are extremely thin.
Yeah. Now we got to talk about Hades, though, because again, we've seen Hades, if he doesn't do well with the damage dealers, he's going to go back to his utility. And again, a lot of plays coming in from Hades.
Yeah, kid from Pasay, not scared to pick up the Amon, not scared to pick up something like a Guinevere, which survives death many times and also initiate for his team. I think that in order for NIP Flash to reactivate Hades in this game, they have to bring out the assassins, or maybe just... I think the idea of last picking the Hades hero is actually pretty good in a way that you now adjust whether he should be going to the utility or the damage assassin junglers. However, it's just that last game that I find, or even actually last 2 games, which I find really questionable. If you look back at how they approach Homeboys, that's actually good. Like, they pick up assassins first 3 games, and then what, Guinevere and another utility jungler, which I can actually
the Barats.
The Barats, right? So that was good adjustment, and actually the draft made a lot of sense. In the first 2 games, going up against SRG, the Aamon is a questionable pick. So much is the Alpha, so I believe that the first step, they got it, they nailed it to put Hades on the last pick. However, they are choosing the wrong heroes, unfortunately.
Well, I think that even if they are choosing the wrong heroes, it's a give and take, right, in the draft. You can't win every single thing in the world.
True.
And I think that, like, there's a high priority on Diablo, and I think, you know, Vanix, at this point of time, is... Well, I don't want to say that he's surrendering to the lane, but I definitely think that they need to start controlling these lanes better and making sure that at least from that mid lane onwards, right, where exactly are they going to look for the big capital punishments?
I love, now that you brought up Vanix, I love how SRG is challenging the hero pool of Vanix in many ways. For example, game number 1, they banned Roger, or they let the Roger be banned, and then
but with that being said, we got to look at what Eterna as well as Weezy has to say in this video.
Hey everyone, it's Eterna here at the Amazon Arena with Weezy, as well as our fellow cosplayer, the famous cosplayer Keiko, and she is here dressed as Aurora. Which skin are you dressed as right now?
It's Nature's Throne revamp skin.
Oh, it looks good. Do you play Aurora a lot?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I gotta ask you, for Aurora, who would you say is the best player for MSC 2024 on her?
I mean, it's Stormy for sure from SRG.
Ooh, Stormy.
Okay. I mean, he's up there right now performing, so he needs the support, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, we need to ask Keiko right now, do you have any moves that Aurora does that you can show us?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. That's
wow.
so cool!
That was like spot on. Honestly, I almost froze in my tracks. Eterna, do you have an Aurora skill you can show us as well?
I guess I can try to do what you did, right? I'll try myself. Okay, Was that close?
It's close enough.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was frozen in my tracks with that one as well. Thank you so much, Keiko, spending your time with us today. Amazing outfit. I definitely got to get some cosplay tips from you guys. Enjoy the show. Shout out to your favorite teams, and let's continue that strive for MSC 2024.
Shout out to Keiko. Shout out to Aurora. Now, let me tell you guys, us on the panel, we have practiced for this. We know how to be like Aurora, and you guys don't even need to see us, all right? You guys just need to hear us. 3, 2, 1, with a crown, fool. And there you go. We just did the passive.
Thank you.
You guys don't even need to see it. You guys just know.
With a crown, fool.
With a crown, fool.
It happens. It happens. Every single time, most people kind of forget what a passive is. Same goes for Nana even most of the time. But I think it's time we go into the draft. And once again, the fact that NIP Flash is going to be on that blue side, it feels like they've got something going for them because blue side has been, well, I would say a little bit better than red.
Ruby as the first ban. That's interesting. Now you can see the reaction coming up from SRG. They laughed, essentially.
You know,
but like, yeah, they feel Yums now.
I feel like this might be Yum's second pick, the Cho.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look at him. He's excited for sure. I think he's like, thank goodness you banned it, because if not, I have to use it again.
I mean, the fact that they're banning out the Ling, this could also open up the opportunities for maybe one of the dangerous gold laners to come out. Maybe Harith in this case, and if Harith comes out, I'm expecting Yums to play something along the lines of Kaja. If we do see the Roger come out, then it's anybody's guess at this point.
Yeah, that's why the red side is so good, because you kind of can dictate this. Because, for example, the Ling and the Ruby being banned by NIP Flash, that threatens the potential Harith and the Roger, which they can also control. Because now, I don't know if NIP Flash should be giving up the Louis, because it kind of feels like SRG, what they are going to do is to open Harith, Roger, and Louis. Then they get 2 out of those 2 good heroes, which is going to happen right now. So, this Angela ban from NIP Flash, that's difficult to... that's a desperation ban from NIP Flash, I feel like.
I mean, I don't know. Personally, for me, I feel like the Angela ban, especially when you're on the blue side, I don't think it's the greatest idea in the world. And for the most part of it, we need to start thinking about enablers, right? At the same time, it always is more beneficial to be able to like counter pick it on the red side rather than having to first pick it on blue.
Yeah.
At the same time, I do agree with you. I think that the Loyi kind of really diverts the way that NIP Flash has to play the earlier stages of the game before they get flanked out of nowhere.
Won't be surprised if both Roger and the free will be both open. That's Harith, Roger, and Louis. And they are
the Martis. Interesting.
Oh yeah, that's it, right? Roger, Harith, Louis are open. So NIP Flash, they're gonna get one of those 3, and then SRG will get 2 of the better picks. You know, that's pretty smart, actually.
That's genius.
It's genius.
That's like Albert Einstein level.
Yeah.
Man,
okay, maybe too much.
I mean, considering that like a majority of the players are already a prodigy in their own role, I would say that even the coaches honestly deserve it as well.
Okay, so there is an argument though that you can pick up the Cho already in this case, like maybe Cho Harith for
Louis, Cho Louis.
Yeah, but Louis Harith is scary.
True.
And then you're just playing the Rogers, which you don't want to be in that spot. That's gonna be very difficult. I think the next best thing for SRG, maybe pick up the Valentina early, so that's like Valentina Harith that they can take.
And now we got to look at a game fact here. SRG boasts a lower control rate of 80.7%, second only to TLPH 81.5% and MSC 2024, which is a pretty impressive number to consider. Harith, Valentina. So they don't even want the Louis.
Yep.
Interesting. I mean, this is one of the few times that Valentina actually makes it through through the ban system, right? Most of the time, blue side has been consistently getting rid of it from playoff stage, even from groups. We were seeing a couple. She was like banned out, what, 73% of the time?
Yeah. Do you want? I think you want to go Cho now if you're NIP Flash. Take it away.
Benedetta as well.
Benedetta, yeah. Cho Benedetta, probably for NIP Flash. Apart from that, what else do you take? Do you even pick up the Minotaur just so they can support your Roger?
But then the Valentina though.
Exactly. Actually, at this rate, so they pick up the Farsa instead. I love it actually.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with this as well. I can agree that at least with the Farsa, you kind of... Well, even though it's not as good as a Minotaur per se, at least it definitely forces Harith to really think about when he drops down that Zaman Force and whether or not he can close the distance in time.
Okay, this is probably Hayabusa for SRG. I am hoping that it will be Hayabusa. But at the same time, the Yu Zhong is such a good pick for SRG. Counters the Farsa, counters the Roger in many, many ways.
I agree.
They can also go for the Grok as well, just to have the classics.
Honestly, that's true. And again, Nolan is up there as well. Sakai's can use that. I don't think it's a third pickable kind of hero, but Fanny, though. Casters, you guys are watching Valentina, Harif, as well as Fanny as the opener for Selangor Giants. How does this make you guys feel?
Hey, I saw that Fanny locked in, and I was fist pumping here, man. I like to see it, especially now that SRG's at match point. What a way to go out in style here if they are able to sweep.
I like the Fanny, but I would like to see a game 4, possibly 5. So we'll see. I like NIP's draft. I think the Roger take was very clean in the beginning. No Lu Yi picked from either side or band is still very, very crazy for me. And there's the dang?
I mean, it's a Diablo special, man. It's a Diablo special.
I mean, to be fair, Diablo is notorious for having some off picks, and also when it comes down to damage dealers too.
No, remember, it was Diablo on the Badang that 1v1 the Fanny.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, the clip?
Yeah.
That happened. That was lore accurate.
Yeah. That was lore accurate. But with that being said, right, it does mean that the EXP lane is still pretty up in the air. They're getting rid of a lot of the standards here, but I think maybe just getting rid of the Benedetta is probably a good idea just to kind of limit down the pool.
Yeah. Which also begs the question, do you want to pick up the Phoveus for NIP Flash just to counteract this Harith as well as this Fanny?
And the Valentina, honestly.
Yeah, because of the double dash too. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many good ults to steal already within that first phase. Yeah. I mean, I feel like for NIP Flash, they just need to make sure that Cortese's Feathered Airstrike, he's able to scale and most likely is able to get all of his shots out.
Oh, the Minzitar. Oh, of course.
Oh, very good. You know what? Smart.
Very, very smart.
Very smart.
Honestly, right now, Caster is looking at the bans here. Betting on the Badam, betting on the Minzitar, betting on the Terizla. A lot of EXP bans. How, like, do you guys think this is a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's what'd you say earlier? Albert Einstein smart. It's around that area of IQ.
It's smart.
Yeah, that works too. I'm wondering at last ban though, from NIP Flash. I think, especially with the Cho pick here, assuming it's going to go in the hands of JPL, man. After what we saw from Game 1, this is almost a step-up game for JPL in order to get them to another game to extend the series. I feel like.
Yeah, I think they took the right measures to give JPL a decent game this time, taking out the Ruby, taking out some of those obstacles that have been in his way so far. So, I mean, NIP, now that they're on the ropes, this is their last shot, so they're going to have to feel comfortable with this.
And I think at the very least, for NIP Flash, there's no other good bans. Just stick to the standards here, right? Get rid of the Grok. They knew that the Arlet is eventually going to get let through.
Yeah. I think we're left with Yuzhong and Guinevere, I feel like, will be the last 2 picks here for NIP Flash. Apart from that, an outlier may be, of course, the Benedetta should be considered by NIP Flash. An outlier may be Glue, actually, which was traditionally picked against Harith and the Fanny. Not at